church family. I'm here with Pastor Mark Turner, who many of you I'm sure recognize, is our church planter and pastor at Redemption Heights in West Philly. Mark's thanked for being with us today.
Yeah, it's fun that technology allows it.
Yeah. So, Mark, it's been a few months since we've seen and heard from you. Last time I think we had you here, it was our Praise and Go Sunday, and you preached for us and got to share that weekend what's happening in Philly. So, catch us up first just on the family. How are Whitney and the kids?
Yeah, everyone's doing great. Jackson will be 8 on May 1st, and I think he'll be about as tall as me, if not then pretty soon thereafter. Kid's just growing like a weed. And Abby's cute as can be, missing preschool right now. She's become quite a little people person. And then Joshua just turned 2, and I think he's part daredevil. Him and AJ would get along. AJ could teach him how to do some flips because he's that kid.
So tell us, what was ministry like? Because since we've seen you last, y'all's transitioned into a kind of a little more permanent location. So think before coronavirus, what were you guys doing at Redemption Heights?
Yeah, we just outgrown our home. We were having, basically 35 people every week in our home, and it was just getting too much. So we started renting out the space at a local Methodist church, real friendly folks, but they're just declining. They have about 10 to 12 people that meet there on Sunday mornings, all, getting up there in age, and just have this beautiful old building that they allow us to rent from them on Sunday nights. So we were getting established in the community, and we'd really seen God do some really cool things. College ministry at St. Joe's was going well. We'd had a student join the church. Multiple students started attending, and we saw our first couple salvations. A college student got saved, and then a guy in our neighborhood got saved as well, and that brings a lot of discipleship opportunities. So we were really feeling like momentum was kind of on our side. So we were planning some big stuff here for Easter, a block party, some Good Friday mission work, and then just kind of a chance to kind of go big and announce our presence permanently in the community on Easter Sunday this year, and really excited about that. Felt real good about the timing. And then we learned that God had other plans. So we're like everyone else, just trying to figure out what to do now and figure out how God is working in this unique season.
Yeah, so praise the Lord that people are being saved and churches growing. That's awesome to hear. And we were supposed to have a team there. We had put a team together, I think of a dozen or so. They were going to leave, in a day or so. They were supposed to be there this weekend and help you guys with a block party and stay around for the Easter service on Sunday nights. And so we had to cancel that a couple of weeks ago. So just talk about how ministry has changed for Redemption Heights. Obviously, y'all aren't able to meet. So what are things like just in Philly right now? We know what it's like in Suffolk. What are things like in Philly right now, and how has that changed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everyone there's feeling similarly to the folks that we have here. There's some folks that sort of want to get back to work, and there's others who are afraid to go out of their house, and sort of everything in between. Maybe with the added stress of just being in a relatively poor section of a big city. So some of the financial toll on a lot of our people is pretty severe. We have a number of people who are attending our church who have elderly parents, some in nursing homes. So that's brought a lot of anxiety as well, since they've locked those down. And that's where kind of the highest, mortality rate is in the nursing homes in our city and things like that. So, I mean, there's just this weird feeling of everyone is anxious and really asking very serious questions, but there's not the kind of contact that we would normally hope for, so that we can share the hope of the gospel. So we've done like what most churches have done, try to figure out ways to connect to people. We took our Bible studies online. We worship online still at 6:00 on Sunday nights. So you can listen to Nansemond River in the morning, you listen to Redemption Heights at night, and fill your day with online worship services. We've distributed things in our neighborhood, notes on the doors, put to let people know that we'd be happy to get groceries or supplies for them if they need. Just trying to figure out how can we serve, and what is God doing in this situation. We've just kind of learned through almost 2 years here, a year and a half here in Philly and in church planning, just the reality that these sort of interruptions are not really interruptions to God. They're part of his plan. So rather than fight them, we're just looking for how he is working. And he's shown himself really gracious to us. So two things that I'll share just that you can celebrate with us. One is we had our best 3 months ever financially at the beginning of 2020. Not a lot of rhyme or reason to it. Nothing we really planned on. But God in his grace just said, hey, here's 3 really good months of finances. We're not rich by any stretch of the imagination. That stuff goes quickly, but we see now how God gave us a buffer so that during this time we didn't have to stress. We could serve, we could help our community, we could not worry about money and instead worry about people and pastoring. So that's been a real blessing. And then secondly, we early on started live streaming our services when we were just in my house because we were trying to stay connected to people who were supporting us there in Virginia and North Carolina and really all over the country. And so it didn't really make a lot of sense for a church our size to live stream to a lot of people. But now we see how God prepared us to be ready to take this online without any glitches. It was just a simple transition for us. And so those were good things. The challenge for us is, like I said, we had all this momentum. We were really excited for this moment where we were celebrating our first baptisms on Easter. These 2 guys that I mentioned who had gotten saved were going to be baptized on those days. One's a college student, grew up Roman Catholic. God just met him and called him. He was, kind of stuck in a pattern of sin and felt like, hey, if I'm going to call myself a Christian, I should read the Bible. Got through the book of Romans and said, I think I'm a Christian now and I need to find a church and be baptized. So it's pretty cool. And he got connected to our ministry at St. Joe's and being discipled by Pastor James. Just a really cool story. And then another guy grew up in West Philly, went to West Philly High School, a former Army Ranger, just a really amazing story, and got in trouble with the law, some substance issues and things like that. But God got a hold of his heart, and he got saved. And we've been walking with him through some inpatient recovery and some outpatient treatment, and just to see him at the age of 55 come alive to the gospel has been a really cool thing. So we were excited to celebrate those moments, and then to have those kind of take in has really made us recalculate. So we're just kind of praying that we can serve well during this time, and then when this clears, we can get back to work, hoping to kind of move our block party that was for Easter to more of a back to school thing where we can do some school supplies and some haircuts and maybe a food pantry and things for the community, along with the games and the fun and that sort of stuff, and kind of more or less have that go big moment that was at Easter, have that in the fall, coinciding with college students coming back as well. So we're praying that things move to the point that we're able to gather again around that time, and trusting that if that's not the timing, God's timing, then whatever his timing is will be better.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing all that. That's great to hear what has been happening and how you guys are adjusting. I know one question I have gotten a lot is people in our church concerned for you guys, because I think anybody that knows anything about church planning knows that it's oftentimes done pinching some pennies. And to hear that you guys, the Lord was able to prepare y'all financially for this more difficult time season is great. And then we're really hoping, even though we had to cancel this trip that was supposed to be here this week, we're really hoping that the second half of this year we'll be able to have multiple teams in Philly working right alongside you guys, maybe for that back to school thing or other stuff that you'll do this fall. And so we're all going to pray to that end. So speaking of that, what are some things that we can be specifically praying for you, your family, for James, for our other friends that are there, and for Redemption Heights during this time?
Yeah, I think on the one hand, just pray for this not to be a wasted time. We've been moving at a very fast pace, as church planting is. A lot of stress, a lot of just working hard, and so God has forced us to slow down. Just pray that we use this time well to read his word, to pray, to rest, that's one. Two, just pray for the health and safety of those people in our neighborhood. We have a lot of people who work in healthcare. Like I said, they either have family in nursing homes or work in nursing homes, nurses assistants, that sort of thing. Just pray for them to stay healthy. And then third, just pray for that momentum that we built to continue through this summer. We're doing our best to disciple via online, FaceTime, Zoom, all that sort of stuff. We're having our Bible studies online, but it's a poor substitute for the real thing. It's good, and we're grateful for it, but it makes us long for the real thing. So just pray that we'll be able to continue to do that. And then pray that when this clears, that those seeds that we've been sowing about the gospel would really take root during this time as people are questioning just what's going on, and they're asking really big questions about the world and suffering and God's plan for them and purpose. So just pray that God would use that to see more people come to faith in Him.
Yeah, so church family, I want to encourage you to pray alongside of Mark and James and Whitney and the others that are there as they do ministry and face this time. And I also want to remind you that as you give to the Pray Send Go missions offering here at our church, 20% of that helps to fund them and make sure that they're able to have the things that they need to do ministry. And as you've heard us communicate over the last couple of weeks, we're still doing, even in the midst of coronavirus, we're still promoting the Annie Armstrong Easter offering. And so if you go to nansariver.com and click Give Online, one of the giving tabs there, one of the giving options will be the Annie Armstrong Easter offering, which doesn't just fund Mark, but funds hundreds of other church planters and church plants, just like Redemption Heights, in unreached cities across North America. So I encourage you to give both to our missions offering and to the Annie Armstrong missions offering so we can support church planters during this difficult time. Mark, thanks so much for joining us today.